Hello, I'm Brian. We have our garlic chive harvest from the garden, and with it we're going to be making a garlic chive cake. It's technically a dumpling, and this dumpling originated from Chaozhou, which is a city in the Guangdong province in China. It's a very iconic food item for a group of people called Chaozhou or Chiu Chow or Teochew. And in the diaspora into Southeast Asia, garlic chive cake is a very popular street food item. You'll find it in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Thailand, and in Laos. And here in the United States, if you live in California, you may find it in the Chiu Chow restaurants that are dotted around Los Angeles and San Jose. So be on the lookout for it, and I hope you give it a try. It's also known as Leek cake or chive cake, so look for it under those names. But it's not to be confused with chive dumpling, which is something that is easily found at the dim sum restaurants. Either way, I hope you give those a try if you've never had garlic chive before. And today I'll be making some garlic chive cake. It's a very delicious comfort food item that my grandma used to make for us, and I'll show you how it's done, and I hope you also give this recipe a try. First, we start by giving the garlic chive a really good wash, and since we harvested them a little bit later, we'll have to remove all the garlic chive scapes. And afterwards, the key is to make sure they're nice and dry, because we don't want any excess water inside our dumpling. These are a little bit more mature, so the stalks are going to be a little bit more woody, and since we have a lot of garlic chive, we have the luxury to not use it. Otherwise, if you're short on garlic chive, you're going to really want to give it a fine dice. So let's take these out and compost it, and we'll just cut up our garlic chive into little sections. So there's quite a bit of the garlic chive to go, so I'm going to continue slicing, and then we'll get to the next part, which is to mix this up with some seasoning. We have about 8 cups of garlic chive, and to it we're going to add some table salt, some sodium bicarbonate solution, and some extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO. With regard to the sodium bicarbonate, this is an optional item. It's a flavor enhancer, and it's something that we traditionally put in, so since I have some, I'm going to put it in. If you're not able to find this at the Asian supermarkets, you can make your own from baking soda, and put some baking soda in the oven, and after baking it, it'll become sodium bicarbonate. So high school chemistry there for you. And as far as how much EVOO, it's just to coat the garlic chive. So this is about a teaspoon of salt. I'm trying to do measurements for you. I normally just eyeball everything. This is going to be a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. I'll just put a little bit more, just a little splash, a teaspoon and a splash. But if you're going by measurements, a teaspoon. And as far as oil, it's just enough to coat it. This is about 8 cups of garlic chive, so we'll start with half a cup. We'll mix it around and see if it needs more. But if you're the type that cooks by eyeballing, basically you just want a light coating. For our dough, it will consist of rice flour and tapioca starch. So this will make our garlic chive cake a gluten-free food item. As far as ratios, they depend on who's making it. Tapioca starch will add elasticity to the dough. So if you like a dumpling that is a little bit more chewy, then you will want to put in a little bit more tapioca starch. The ratios that I use is 3/4 of a bag of rice flour to 1/4 a bag of tapioca starch. And if you note that there is a difference in the weight of the 2 bags, so this is 1 pound and this is 14 ounce, so you can compensate for that. This is not baking, so you don't have to get it exactly right. There's a lot of give here. So today what I'll be making is 1.5 bags of rice flour and half a bag of this tapioca starch. Here's a neat trick that my mom taught me. Sometimes I cut my bag and leave a little bit of it attached. And then what you do is you take this bag and you twist it, and then you can use this part as a tie to tie it. Next in here, we're going to need about 4 cups of hot boiling water. So add it slowly. Another 2 cups for a total of 4 cups. I'm checking the dough, and it's pretty soft, and we still have a little bit of dry flour down there, so looks like we'll be adding another 1/4 cup of hot water to this. That's 1/2 cup, excuse me. Rice flour. In this state, it's super sticky, so we want to use a lot of flour to help us ball this up. So here's our dough for the garlic chive cake. In Teochew, anything that's made from rice and steamed is called a cake. So although we would refer this to a dumpling, the reason it's called a cake is because of that, because it's made from rice flour and steamed. Okay, we'll begin making our cakes, but first let's start our steamer up. Here's our double tray steamer, and it's going to really help us crank out these cakes. Before we start making them, let's get the water boiling. On top of each tray, they've been lined with cotton cloth. This helps the cake from sticking to the tray. Dumpling making time. Once again, make sure your fingertips have flour because the dough is super sticky. We're gonna grab a ball. We're gonna make a ball, flatten it a little bit, and start shaping it. Now we have a little tiny bowl, and we're gonna scoop in our garlic chive. And here's the tricky part, sealing it up. This first one is always a practice one, and it sometimes almost never looks nice, but as we make more, we'll get the hang of it, and it'll go a little bit more smoothly. As far as how much you fill it will depend on your skill level. So what you want to do when you start off is to fill it maybe with 1 scoop if you're attempting this seal method. So we'll put them in a steamer for 20 minutes. And here they are out of the steamer. Normally they are adorned with a red dot, but I didn't have any beets this time around. If I had some beets around, I would use beets as a food dye. They can be enjoyed straight out of the steamer after letting them cool a little bit, or pan fried. Here's our garlic chive cake the way I like to enjoy it, pan-fried. And if you're visiting Southeast Asia, be sure to look out for this when you go and check out the street markets. Depending on which country you're in, you'll find different sauces, and you're likely to find all the different sauces in each of the country. But for the most part in Vietnam, you'll find a fish sauce vinaigrette, which contains fish sauce, lime juice, and some sugar. Or because of the large Chinese community, you'll find it with a hoisin sauce, which also has a little bit of peanut butter in it. And when you cross over to Thailand, you'll find it with a dark soy sauce, and sugar and chili. But in either of those countries, it's always good with a little bit of sriracha. I like my pan-fried leek cake without sauce. I used to like it with a lot of sauce, but these days I try to use a little bit of sauce. But this is really, really enjoyable just as it is. So with our harvest from the garden, we made this pan-fried leek cake, and I hope you get to try it someday. And until the next garden segment, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.